you're looking for a change, you have to start changing. It doesn't just happen, overnight. It doesn't happen in just a couple of days. You have to change what you do with your life and everything that you consume, everything that you put out into the world. You have to look at everything that you do with a different side of things, like just eating general foods. I used to eat a ton of fast food and I kind of looked at myself like I don't want to be, this unhealthy kid anymore. So you have to make that change and you have to change your diet. Now I just try and eat high protein, trying to lose weight, trying to get into better shape. You have to be able to consume different media types too. Like all I used to watch was just, gameplay videos and just stupid stuff online of like people, like doing stupid stuff on skateboards, scooters, all that kind of stuff there, the old school media vines where kids are falling off of scooters and you're laughing and stuff. And then I changed it and I started to understand life a little bit better. I started to watch people like Jet Franzen, unsolicited advice, and like those kind of people. They talk about different things that are going on within media and literature, and you start to understand that there's a whole lot of stuff that you don't think about every single day. There's stuff that you go through that you don't think you're strong for going through it. Those kind of things there, like talking about different philosophies and different strengths, different how strong you are for the battles that you fight in your mind every single day, and you take them for granted, like trying to fight those demons in your head, and then all of a sudden the demons they don't really, they don't go away. They fight back. And as you start to understand philosophy and you start to look deeper into things, you start to realize that you're not necessarily alone fighting these demons. You just happen to be in a different battlefield at a different time than other people. And some people have been in that battlefield before, and you're able to communicate with them and have that nice little outreach. You got to be able to find people who are trying to be like you, or who are you. You got to find people that you are trying to be like. Like I've been reading my book lately, Just Beyond the Light by Randall Blythe. He talks about his alcohol and drug addiction and how he overcame it. And I'm not addicted to alcohol or drugs or anything like that, but trying to live a better life and trying to, eat clean and put things in my body that my body needs, and trying to help people throughout every single day, because helping people makes me feel way better and makes me feel happy. And I mean, the stuff that he talks about, having different outlooks on life and different things that you don't ever really look into. And you got to start consuming that kind of media to make the change. If you're the kind of person who lays in bed late at night, midnight until 2 a.m. just scrolling through Instagram, you're never going to find the you that you want to be. You have to find people that are like you. And I did that by just finding people online. Like I said, Jet Franzen, I won't lie, I found him doom scrolling one night and I started to consume more and more of his media. It's like if he posts a video, I watch it a little bit before I go to bed, and then instead of doom scrolling before to bed, I think about what he said. Like if he laid out a really good quote, I analyze that quote and I think about it before I go to bed. I just lay head up at the ceiling, all those things there. I'm just kind of like, wow, that is something that I can relate to in my life. How can I apply it though, And it tells me that Jet and I, maybe he fought a battle that I currently am fighting, and he has things that he says that I'm just able to hear now. There's that whole quote where it's like, look at you now, and you're telling people the words that you wish you had heard when you were younger. And if you can't hear those words when you're younger, then you need somebody to be able to hear them. Like I never once took my own advice when I was growing up. People, I could see people going through, depression and breakups all around me, and I gave them advice. I'm like, you just have to move on. You have to forget about it. You have to exercise, eat good. I never did any of that. I told them all of those things because I understood that could make me better, but it's like I romanticized just being just depressed and wanting to, wallow in my sadness, all that stuff there. And now I'm starting to find people like that are giving me the words, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe, I said those words, but I never heard them. And now I'm hearing them, and it's like, you're right, I got to change my life. I got to be on course. I got to maybe work out a little bit more, or maybe consume more water every single day. I think that's a weird problem that kids our days have, but it is. Like, not drinking a whole lot of water, and then they're wondering why they're, fatigued, and why they're depressed, or why they're not having a good day, or having headaches, all those things there. And it's like, all you need to do is just drink water and eat the stuff that your body needs, and you will feel a lot better. I guarantee it. I was struggling with depression at 18, and I mean, yeah, I occasionally worked out and it occasionally boosted my depression. It made me feel like a lot mellower and just less in my head, but I didn't do it enough and I didn't do everything at once. So it was a temporary cure, and I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, one day a workout doesn't cure me. I clearly it's never gonna work. But now it's like I go on a walk, I go on a run, I do 10 minutes of like AMRAPs. It's as many reps as possible. I'm not in no way or shape or form a super fit guy right now, but you stay dedicated and it helps me stay grounded, and it definitely gets you a different outlook in life. And ever since I started eating stuff that my body needs, like getting a good amount of protein, carbs, dairy, vitamins, all this stuff there, I started to realize that as real as depression is, it's also kind of seems easy to fix once you are able to get out of it. And it's like fixing depression is not at all the hardest battle. It's just being able to get that first step going. That's the hardest struggle. Like when I was depressed, I, for the life of me, could not get out of bed. I'd sleep for 12 to 17 hours every single day, and I'd wake up to use the bathroom and maybe go get a little snack to eat, anything like that, and then I'd just go straight back to bed. And I kept thinking, all I'm ever gonna do with my life is just lay in bed. I'm no ambition. I'm just tired all the time. And as I kept telling myself, like, I just need a day where I get out of the bed and I get out in the sunlight, I get out and I have exercise, or I see my buddies. And that was the hardest part, was just finding the energy and the motivation to do it. And then one day I just woke up and it's like I snapped. I told myself, I was like, no more. I have to get up. I woke up at a decent time and I started to get outside and feel the sun on my skin, eating good food, getting plenty of food in my body as well. When I was in high school, I was 160 pounds, 12% body fat. Like, I don't know, I'm not a health expert, but considering the fact that I didn't work out that much, I think that shows kind of how not frail. I was still a little heavier set in high school, but it's different now. Now I'm 180 and I'm like 20%, and we're working on it. Like I realized that, like, to get out of the depression, to get out of this negative mind loop, consuming better media, consuming better food, getting exercise, getting the sunlight, that's all you need to do. It is that easy. It's just getting to that first step that is hard. And so if you're watching this video and you're like, how do you even get to that first step? I don't have the words yet. I'm hoping maybe I will, or maybe somebody I watch does. But all I can tell you right now is you just have to wake up one day and tell yourself enough is enough. You have to push yourself to the limits. You have to do better. You have to be better. If some of the things that helped me was playing games like God of War and Dark Souls, where you're just this man with a broken past or damaged past, anything like that. And you hear those words where, like, Kratos telling people or telling Atreus, he's like, you have to be, or you don't have to be sorry, you have to be better. Like that hit harder. It's like, I can't be sorry for myself. I have to be better for myself. And having that kind of motivation, like right now, I think the big trend is Spider-Man. Everyone's joking about how they lost their MJ as well, and they're watching Spider-Man Brand New Day to figure out how to do it. And I won't lie, I made the jokes. I'm also like that. And Spider-Man he just does it. And if you can find an idol, find an icon, anything like that you can look up to and understand that, like, wow, they are doing all these things, and you hold out and you're like, I want to be him, I want to be her, I want to be that. That can help you. It's like, you can do it. Like, I'm starting to work out a little bit more every single day because I saw Spider-Man's physique. I was like, I want to be able to swing from a building. I can't. Obviously, that's physically impossible if you do the science behind it. But watching that movie, it's like, wow, like, he's in his 20s, I'm in my 20s. I'm single, and yet he's doing all these amazing things. It's like, that's an icon to look after. Like, you want to be like Kratos. Maybe don't destroy a whole entire religion just because they killed your family or anything like that. But you can do it. You can, if you want the physique of Kratos, like, idolize that. Look at him like, I want to have biceps like Kratos. If you want the mindset of, God, I don't even know who to think of, but if you're sitting there like, wow, I want to have the same outlook as so-and-so, then start consuming what they consume. Like, I want to have the same outlook as Jet Franzen. So now I have him on Instagram, I follow him on YouTube, all that stuff there. And there's times where he posts like a picture where it's like stuff I consumed instead of brain rotting today. And it's like, wow, I'm going to go watch that. And then I see what he kind of sees in those videos. And I'm like, okay, that's how I'm going to be more like him, more like those kind of YouTubers that talk about these things. It's like, I'm just going to start to fit into their life. I'm going to see what they do on a daily basis. and get into that routine. I don't want to doom scroll on Instagram anymore. I want to consume philosophical beliefs. I want to learn about the dark and the light side of like everything that we feel. I want to feel everything that we can all at once, and that's how ultimately I'm going to be better than I am today. And that's something that I think everyone needs to look at. They need to look at themselves through different lenses and start to realize like, hey, I've made mistakes, but I'm going to be better now, and I'm going to take that first step. I'm going to get out of this routine of feeling sorry for myself and feeling like I'm not enough or anything like that, and eventually just do it. Take that first leap of faith, and that's the beauty of it. Is that's like, there's that quote or scientific understanding where it's like that's usually the first step is the hardest step, but then once you fall into that routine, you get better. Like I'm trying to lose weight, I eat a lot of protein. I try to eat a lot of protein, I should say, and it's like sometimes I have a bad day where I accidentally forget to eat breakfast or I don't eat anything that day, and then I go to bed. I'm like, wow, this ruined the whole streak that I just had going on, but it didn't, because then the next day I pick up right where I left off. And you don't have to worry about failures. Just because you did one bad day doesn't mean that every other day after that has to be bad. You just have to make sure that you make up for it. Like you can't have 2 bad days in a row. You have to have just the one bad day, let the next day count for the next, and then so forth. Once you get into that routine and understanding of, like maybe you're in a gym workout routine and you're like, oh, I'm just really tired on Sunday. I'm not gonna work out Sunday. Okay, just make sure to work out Monday. If you're on a diet and you're like, oh man, I ate a lot of sugar or a lot of fast food on Friday, just don't eat a lot of that on Saturday and you'll be able to recover. Maybe it puts you back a little bit, but being set back a couple of steps is way better than being pushed back a whole entire mile. So consume everything that you can, learn everything that you can, to just ultimately try and be better about yourself. Look at yourself from a deeper understanding too, and understand that it's like, don't blame everything on something else. Like you have to take that accountability. You have to look at yourself and be like, hey, I made these mistakes because I'm this way, and there you go. Now you understand to not make that mistake again. You just can't be that way. Like I think once you ask yourselves those questions, you'll start to realize and understand, and consume other media and literacy. Find out what other people are doing to, like fix themselves or anything of that nature, and have them put a different outlook on life. Like I said, that book that I'm reading, Just Beyond the Light, it's a beautiful book. I mean, he's overcome his addiction and everything. And it's like, again, I don't have an addiction, but some of the stuff he says in there, it hits, and you're like, wow, I will have to be better. I'm going to have to change a different outlook. I'm going to have to do these things differently now. And overall, ever since doing that, I felt a little bit better. I've had the confidence to make this video. I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time now. And after just reading these books and watching Jet Franz on the YouTube here, it's like, I'm making this first video. This is happening. And now I'm not too like scared of like what's going to happen. I understand that there's going to be hate from it, but ultimately this is who I want to be. This is the routine I need to be in. I need to be able to make these videos, and I need to be able to take the hate, take the negative comments, all that stuff there, because with that, it's a yin and yang thing. There's going to be hate, but there's also going to be people that see this video and it reaches them, and they're going to follow, and they're going to understand all the things that I talk about as well, and they're going to want to relate and hopefully even, make stuff like this themselves. So